Good afternoon, guys. It's Tuesday afternoon, and we're expanding on this project a bit because I'm quite enjoying it for the moment. Okay, and with that in mind, what I have done is I've made the candle into a blueprint. Okay, and the reason for that is I want to be able to move it out of the minimap. Okay, because I want to remove it from the minimap. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to move everything from the minimap, or let me just show you. Okay, so what I'm having to do here is I'm basically getting all actors of class, and one by one I'm removing them. I'm setting a big array with the candles, with the wood blocks, with the floor, and with the ceiling, right? And what we're doing is we're appending them all into a big array and setting them as the things that we remove in the minimap, okay? So, with that in mind, I think we need an easier way to do it. And the way I propose that we do that is we set a tag on each of these things, and we'll set it to minimap hidden. Okay, and we shall copy that, and then what we'll do is for each of the sets of actors, right? So we'll go to each of the actors, okay? Then we'll delete this. Then we shall go to here. And we'll set a tag on this to minimap hidden. Okay. Then we shall save that. Then we shall move along the list. So we shall do the floor. Okay. And we'll add a tag. And it's going to be minimap hidden. We should compile that. Hey Sumit, good afternoon. Nice to see you back. We shall delete this for the moment. Alright, we go back to a first person character. Then we'll go to our wood block. We'll open that. We'll do the same thing. Right, so we'll set a tag on this. And that's going to be minimap hidden. Compile that. Then go back to here. And we've already done the candle. What about first person animations? So what we can do is we can delete all of this. Okay, and we can delete that, and right. I'll stop you there. I'm not interested in first person shooters or anything like that. So I've never worked on like strafing animations, but what you want to do is get your Y direction. Normally when you're going forward, you're getting the speed from the X. But obviously if you're moving on the Y, then that would activate your strafe. If you know what I'm saying, that your speed. Hey, Super 3D Creations. But the point is, right, when you're moving forward, your animation blueprint is triggered by the speed, or at least the blind space, is triggered by the speed and the length of your X, right? But it's the Y that you're looking for which would activate strafe. Okay? Get actors with tag is what we want here. Right, and basically we're doing that. And that. Compile. And we need to join this back up again. The back rooms, I've no idea what you're talking about. How are you this afternoon, Super 3D Creations? If you're indeed still in the stream. Right, so our minimap should still look the same. Yep, which is good. And our candles, well, what I was going to do is, I forgot, but we'll do it. Is in our pickup, we can go to the candle and we can lock that and say 1.5. Save that, compile. Well, for the free stuff, Mixamo is fairly limited, I would say. Right, no reason why you can't use it. Metahumans, I have found, is hit and a miss. Right, and we're getting this. Yeah, what I was going to do was See, these are preview. Alright, what I was wanting to do was none of that. Okay, we'll forget about that for now. Right, now I've completely forgotten what I was going to do. Yeah, I mean, the animation stuff can be, well, it's a specialized subject. You've got to remember that. All of these things are specialized subjects. You know, you got to remember that. You got to remember that there's people who only do animation for a job. That's all they do. They don't do anything else, right? They're specialists in animation. So expecting to be able to just be able to do it without any training, any particular skill otherwise is just, it's just not realistic, right? Now, we do have a problem here. I'm going to show you what it is, right? What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do a new level. Okay, and we'll just say basic, create, save that. Right, then we're going to save this level. Right, where did that put that? Right, save current level. We'll call that 2. Save. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in 3 straights, and that's it. Okay? And I'm going to go to details. That's going to be 0. Now, we don't need to do our minimap or anything else for this, right? All we need to do is add well, we don't need to do anything. We just need to add a player start. Right. And the point here is to check our count. Kind of. It's made out of, it's made from another asset, but normally what I do is I will amend each asset to do what I want it to do. Right? So I don't usually use a base asset in a static way. Like it will have procedural stuff in it. It'll be doing it'll never quite look like the original asset, let's say. And I will mix and match stuff from different packages or different assets to give a different look. Right, now I don't know what's going on there. Right, okay. Now, I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. But we need to add a plane. And that's going to be at -20. It's going to be 150. Okay, bud. Thanks for popping in. Always nice to see people coming back. Right, so that'll do. Now, I have no idea why these right, so if we make those all static, there we have it. Now the interesting thing is we've got 2, right, but there's actually 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's something still not right. And it's left and left 1. What? That's static. But that would suggest right, there's something weird about this. Left and right. Okay. So basically what that's saying is these have to be movable. Right? But here's the interesting part, and the thing I was worrying about is in here, that should not be -1. Okay. Right, that's right. So that's cool. So we're going to close that down. Yes. And we're going to do a quick update for you guys on the current scores in Champions League. Copenhagen drew Man City 0-0. Maccabi Haifa beat Juventus 2-0 at home. It's AC Milan 0, Chelsea 0, Celtic 0, RB Leipzig 0, Shakhtar 0-0 with Real Madrid, PSG Benfica 0-0. RB Salzburg have beaten Dynamo Zagreb away from home, and Sevilla have taken the lead against Dortmund in Dortmund. So there's a little Champions League update for you. And now we shall go back to our maps. We shall go back to map 1. Right. And now the point here is we are going to start taking this a bit more seriously. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a game mode. And we're going to say GM Mansion. Okay. And then we are going to do a pawn, and we're going to call it pawn underscore mansion. Right, and then hi Pami CV, hola, ¿cómo está? You're going to watch. Well, that's nice. And our default pawn is going to be pawn mansion. Okay. And then what we're going to do, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to actually delete this. Right. We're going to get our world settings. We're going to go to here. Then we're going to rename this to pawn underscore mansion. Right, we're going to rename that again without the plus sign. And try not to spell it right. Mansion. Go. And then we're going to move this into our blueprints. Right. And then in our GM mansion, we are going to change the pawn to Pawn Mansion. Right, then in our project settings, right, we're going to go to maps and modes, and then in here we are going to call it GM Mansion, and you'll notice that we have Pawn Mansion, right? And that's compiled, so that's fine. Close that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a game instance. So we're going to click here, select this. We're going to call it GI for game instance, and we'll call it Mansion. Okay, then we're going to go to world settings, and we're going to go to our game overrides and GM Mansion. Right, then we're going to save all, and it still works. Okay, so we have done our thing. Now, what we should do here is collect every candle and make sure that our numbers on the left match up with the final number that we actually require. Now we have to go in here. God, I'm terrible with a mouse and keyboard. I guess this is why I never play first person shooters, because I'm absolutely shocking at controlling them. Maybe because actually it's a bit too sensitive. Right, we are going to change all these lights, right, and they're going to become, I'm going to have to move those out of it. Right, that's fine. At least I know what the problem is there. Right, so we'll collect the candles here. Right. I should really have made this a lot more simple, but anyway. Right, we don't need to go in there, but we do need to go in here. Now, there should be candles out there. I thought there might be, and that's because we've not went round here. Right. And there's nothing there. Right. Okay. Right, so there's nothing up that side. We've got 65 out of 88. Right. What that means in the grand scheme of things, I don't know. We're going to have to... Right, we've got 71 out of 88. Right, we've now got 81 out of 88. Right, we've got a bad guy there. Come on then, chase me. Are you going to chase me or what? No, you're facing the wrong way. Right, that's fine. We can work on his AI. right? There's no thing there. Right, so if we go up round here, right, we've got 4 to get apparently. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Right, I don't think there is another one. Right. Now, I kind of know why that is. Ah, there it's there. There we go. 88. Right, so that's actually, that count is working properly. Right. So we're going to escape that. Now we're ready to do the, what do you call it? We're ready to do the finish condition, right? The 88, we've already got the code in there that finds the end condition, right? And then what we can do here, or what we actually want to do at this point, is update our monster. Right, now our monster is down here in the undead pack. Now, trust me on this, guys. I have a... Hey, Apple's Play, how you doing, bud? I appreciate the question mark. Don't know why, but... Right, so... We can either do this in the blueprint... or whatever. We can check out here, right, and basically we can add a sphere collision, right? 156, nowhere near big enough. So that's a bit big. So we'll say 480. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Right, and we're overlapping all dynamic, which is fine. Right, then we can hit here and we can say cast to pawn mansion, right, and if that's successful, we can we need the AI controller. Right. Now, I'm wondering what this is. What we'll do is we'll do a print string, because I don't know if this is the controller or the AI controller in this case. Right, so we want to know either way which it is. So we'll OK that, and then get display name of that, plug that in there, and then we'll change this to 30 seconds. And we should be able to test this straight away, because basically we can run straight up to the monster. And it is the AI. Okay, so that's fine. Right, so now what we can do is we can go to the AI controller, right, and we can actually do like a custom event here. Add a custom event, and we can say got close. Right, and we can just plug that straight in there. And then in our like, when it does that, right, we delete this, then we cast to AI const monster and get close, or it's got close. Got close. Okay. So now if we run round behind it, it should still detect us at a certain point, right? So what I can do is we can run here, right, and then we can go right round the outside. Right, I'm not bothered about picking up candles here or anything. I'm just going to run round the outside basically. As I said, I think this game's going to be a heck of a lot easier to play with a joypad, or somebody that's better than at controlling the mouse than me, which wouldn't be hard of course, but anyway. Right, so here is our monster, right? And here he comes, and that's him behind me now, right? So that works immediately. Now there is a problem, or it's not a problem, it's just something I added in at the start, right? But if we go to our not our blackboard, our behavior tree, you'll notice that we actually don't do that. Right, what we want to do is we want to jump out of here if that changes, right? Which I'm going to have to have a look at. I've done it before, but I can't exactly remember. Exactly how we do it. But we can fix that. Okay, and for the moment I am going to go and grab a cigarette. So hit the like and subscribe. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, and check out the description for ways to support the channel and join Discord. 2 minutes, guys. Okay guys, we are back. So let's carry on with this. And I'm not going to worry about this, right? In fact, what we're going to actually do is we're going to write a task here, right? So we're going to add, right, wait a minute. What we'll do is we're going to AI tasks, right? And then what we'll do is we'll duplicate this and we'll call it set to wandering. Okay, basically we're going to do that in 5 seconds. It's going to do this and then it's going to set it to wandering. Okay, so we're going to open this up. We don't really need these, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to, yeah, we're going to delete that, and yeah, we're going to delete that. We don't need any of that, right? What we're going to do is we're going to get owner controller, or sorry, control pawn, right? And we're going to cast to lich. Okay. And then we're going to say state. Is it a state? Maybe it's not a state. Let's have a look, shall we? Right, so we'll go in here, we'll go to here. And where is it? Why is he not got a status? This is an AI controller. Right. It's in the AI controller. Right, there it's our monster state. Okay. So that's fine. So we're not actually getting this, we're getting the owner controller cast to AI monster controller, right? And then we're going to say state, we're going to say set monster state. So basically we're keeping the two, we're keeping the monster state in the controller and the blackboard key in tandem here, right? So e monster state, right? So we add variable and it's going to be e monster state, and it's going to be a key selector, blackboard key selector, and it's going to be public, right? and then we're going to do that. We're going to get it, then we're going to set enum right, and then we're going to set it to that, and then we're going to finish execute success compile. Then we'll go back to our behavior tree, we'll leave it for 5 seconds, and then we're going to do a task, and our task is set to wandering, right? So you'll note what will happen here is we'll come in here, it'll start here, and then after 5 seconds it's going to run this, right? And then it's basically going to jump to here, and then what we can do then is we can start wandering about. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll test this. Okay, and we'll just watch what happens, and there we go, and it should jump into here. And I don't think I did that right, actually. I think I'd left it out waiting, right? So if we go into here, you'll notice that I left it out waiting. So we want to set it to wandering, and that's why it didn't change. Okay. And there we go. It's now set to wandering. Okay. So that's pretty cool. And there's one thing I need to do here actually. See where this player controller is? Or player start at least. I need to set that. Right, we're going to change this to 50. And then I don't know why it makes that sound at the start. Right, but now we're going to set up our monster wandering, and the thing is here, what we're going to do is we're going to delete that, right, and we're going to do another task, right, and we're going to duplicate that, right, find random location. Okay, and we're gonna have to get a blackboard, then we're gonna have to do a new key. It's going to be a vector, and it's going to be called random location. Save that. Behavior tree, we've got random location there, and now what we can do is we can get random location, we delete all this, we change this to random location, we get the control pawn, looks like right, so we're going to do cast to BP like, right, and then we're going to have to do I can't remember what this is called. Random get random location, get reachable point. Okay. And from here, actor location, okay, and let's say our well 400 is 1, so let's call it 1000, right, and then we're going to get this, then we're going to set a vector, right, and that vector is going to be this, and that is going to be there. It's going to be, well, of the type of game it's based on, it's basically 3D Pac-Man. Right, it's 3D Pac-Man with a twist. Okay, so that should set us now walking around. Now, an interesting thing here is what I am going to, well, what we're going to do here is we're going to press, oh wait a minute, we didn't update this. Right, so we basically say tasks find random location, right, and we pass in random location, and then we say move to and random location, right, then we're setting to wandering, right, and in this one we want to do another task which isn't set to wandering, it's going to be set to waiting, right, so we're going to duplicate that, okay, and instead of wandering we're going to say waiting. This is a behavior tree here. It's basically how you conduct AI. Right? So we're setting this to waiting. So we just basically select waiting here. Right? And that's it. Then we go back to our monster tree and we basically do a task and set to waiting. Right, so what's basically going to happen here is it's going to come in here because the state is waiting, right? And then it's going to wait for 5 seconds and then it's going to set to wander. It's going to find a random location, then move to it, and then once it reaches it, we're going to set the point to, let's say, 2, and then we've got to set this to eMonster state. Save that. Right. And this is just going to make it wander about, okay? If our okay, we'll have a look at that in a minute or two, but then it's going to set it to waiting. Right now at this point it hasn't seen the player, right? So it's basically just jumping from here to here. Right now if it detects the player, it's going to jump to here, okay? But what we need to do is we need to change something here. This is the AI perception, right? So when it detects the player, it basically jumps into this. Yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be, right? Now we've already set this up. It's going to set it to waiting again, and then that will jump back to wandering again, right? So and then it's going to jump back and forth between wandering and waiting, right? So if we run this, right, you'll see that we're doing this and it's now moving. See, it's moving. It's now going to wait for 5 seconds and it might move back away, right? I don't know, because it's basically just now, right, it moved a short distance. It's moving again, and there it goes. So our monster's basically moving now. And there it goes. Now you'll notice now that it's just doing it itself. It'll just do this forever, right? It'll just wander about forever. Right, which is pretty cool. Alright. Off it goes again. So at this point I don't know where the monster is. Oh yeah, that can happen. Especially when well, you don't know where the monster is, right? At this point you don't know where the monster is. Okay? So basically what I should try and do now is go and find the monster, right? Oh, there it is. Now, this isn't the best way to do this. Now if he moves, right, I can basically run away now, right? And what we really want to do is find out, well, the monster's away somewhere. Don't know where. Now, where is he? He's down there somewhere. Okay, so that's point number one. Okay, so we're basically, we have our monster, but we can add as many monsters as we want now, right? So what we could do is we could put a monster here, right? We'll minimize that. So we can put a monster here if we like. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that if I wanted. You could have that as a special pickup that activated the minimap. Simple enough to do. Right, so I could add another 2 monsters. Right. And now all these monsters are basically wandering about. Nah, he's coming down here. Right, I probably can't get by him. No, I can't get by him. Right, now. At this point, right, apart from the game lagging like a bugger, what we really want to do is we start working on this from the point of view of, right, let me explain it. Right, these are going to change. It's going to be as hard or as easy as I want to make it. Right, I don't know why it's doing that. Right, we'll worry about that later. That's me back at the start, I believe. Right, but if I want to run around here, right, there's another monster. Right, but what I could do in this case is basically go through here and then go to the other side, but I kind of know that there's another monster here somewhere. Right, I'm kind of lost now, but oh yeah, there's a monster. Now he's chasing me, right, but you'll notice that he kind of doesn't chase me. Right? The behavior tree should jump right out of, let me see till I show you guys. Right? I can have a go at answering you, Mobzilla. I'm not very good at Blender, I can tell you that. but I can have a go at answering. So basically what we want to do is on result change, we want to abort self, right? And the same for this one. If it changes, we abort self. I'm pretty sure this one, all of these, what are you exporting them as? Right, I'm going to help you here, Mobzilla. Maybe. Maybe it won't help you at all. Right, FBX. Okay. Let me have a look at something here. Blender. Go to there. We'll delete that. Then we'll import FBX. Then we're going to D drive, and I've actually made a gear for a different project. So if we go to, oh, it's actually on C drive. Okay, whatever. Alright, let's see if I can find this. Widget. There you go. That's what my gear looks like. Right, I don't know what size it is, but you get a general picture. If you put it next to a cube, it's about the same size as a cube. Right, okay, well, right, okay. So we'll try and import this, right? Right. So what I'll do is I'll open up this, except that's the wrong thing, but we'll sort this out in a minute. So we'll go to here, to here, to here, and this is the widget here. So drag that in, import all. There you go. Right, don't worry about no smoothing group crap. Right. And then if we want to bring it into the game, we just drag it in. There you go. Right, now you can do some things after the fact with this, right? Say that was mega too big, right? Well, what I can do is go into static mesh here, right? and then drag down, and if I go to import settings and then transform, and then I say 0.25, right, and then re-import after that, and you'll notice that it gets smaller, right? So now if I bring that into the game, it's a lot smaller, right? So there you go. So there's how you do it. So I did exactly what you're saying. I imported an FBX and I resized it. Okay? Yeah, you can change the... If you're clever about it, you can actually change the pivot point. Right? You can change the pivot point by changing the... the transform, as well as changing the actual size of it. Okay? So you can do it either way. But yeah, that's how I do it. And it works, apparently. Right, I'm going to get a comfort break. I shall be back in 2 minutes. If you're enjoying the stream, hit subscribe and like. Check out the description for Discord, and we support the channel from as little as $1. And I shall be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Okay guys, we are back. So let's carry on with this. After we do a little Champions League update. Champions League update is Chelsea are leading in Milan 2-0. Celtic are drawing 0-0. Shakhtar Donetsk are beating Real Madrid 1-0 at home. PSG are drawing with Benfica. Dynamo Zagreb and RB Salzburg are 1-1, and the same score in Dortmund between Dortmund and Sevilla. It's 1-1. Okay, there was your Champions League update. Now, what we want to do now is we want to check that our monster is jumping out of his, like, if this changes, this condition, monster state, if it changes, we want to make sure that it jumps out of whatever it's doing and jumps straight to chasing. Okay, so that's what we have just done. And yeah, and we might need to change those to both, but we'll check it out anyway, right? And one forgets more than some people have learned in Unreal Engine, so we shall try and see if this works. Right, so in theory, and there you go, it done it. It jumped straight out, didn't try to move, immediately tried to chase me, right? So that is the behavior that we want. So let me explain this. As before, we're coming into waiting, okay? And it's going to wait for 5 seconds. We'll call this like the initialization process, where it's everything's getting drawn in the map and all the rest of it. So then it basically starts wandering. So it finds a random location, moves to it, and then sets it back to waiting, which means that it's going to wait for 5 seconds before it picks another random location, then moves to it. Okay, now there's no reason for doing this, right? We could actually just leave it and let it just immediately find another location, which means it'll just basically move around constantly, right? So I can demonstrate that by basically deleting that. But what we want it to do is, if it's in either of these states, we want it to immediately jump to chasing if it detects the player. Okay? So the way we can test that really easily is to change this waiting time to like 60 seconds, okay? And if it doesn't work, then we will never move to chasing, right? Well, we will after a minute, but we've got plenty of time to move up to the monster and get it to detect us, right? And if it does detect us, it should immediately jump out of here and straight to chasing, okay? And that is the reaction we want, or that's the behavior that we want from the monster. Okay? So if we press play, right, you'll notice that it's sitting and waiting, okay? But now look, straight to, right, it's jumped right out of there. Now, we have a problem. Right? Because if we do that and it ends up facing away from us, right? But we have never, like, you'll see what happened there, right? Our problem is that we want some sound, okay? So we need to add footsteps to our player, okay? And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to download them, right? So we'll go to our assets and we'll say footsteps, and we add it to project, right? Click on there, add to project. Oh, it's already set up. Okay, whatever, I must have downloaded these before. Not to worry. Right? Okay, whatever. Right, so we have footsteps already. Now, under normal circumstances, I would have these done as a notify in the blueprint, animation blueprint, right? Now, I don't think we've got an animation blueprint for our player. Okay. So, we're going to have a look. This is our player. And I'm guessing that he won't have actually he has. Right, that's cool then. Right, that's perfect for us, because what we can do is we can kinda have a look at this. Right. And he's going to have, has he got a blend space? Have you got a blend space, bud? Have you? Have you got a blend space? Apparently not. It's got a montage. Right, let's see. Okay. Right. Slow down, bud. Has this got... it has got one notify. I don't know what it is or what it signifies, but right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Right, this might be just bonkers, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a notify, and we're going to call it step. Right, and then we're going to go to about here, and do the same thing, and we're going to call it step. Okay. And then we're going to go to our animation, and we're going to go in here, and we're going to say notify step, right? And then we're going to add some a variable called foot step cues, right? This might be confusing the hell out of you. If it is, then let me know and I'll try and explain it a bit more. We're going to say object reference, right? And we're going to make it an array, right? Then we're going to compile it. And then we're going to add I don't know how many we've got, so we've got footstep sound here, then we're going to go sounds, then we've got wave files, right, and then we're going to go mail, and then we're going to say wood, and we've got 6, and these are all cues, so that's fine, right? And we've got 5 array elements, we need 6, so we basically drag that in there, then this one in here, this one in here, this one in here, and finally this one in here. Okay. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, actually, we're going to drag this in. We're going to get this. Then we're going to say length. Then we're going to say -1. So we're going to subtract 1. Right, and this is going to give us the length of the array from 0 to the highest index, right? And then, so from here, we're going to say int range, and we're going to say random integer in range, and it's going to be from 0 to this, and then from the footstep cues we're going to get a copy, right, and then the index is going to be our random footstep, which basically is a random sound, and then we're going to say play sound at location, right, and our sound is going to go here, and then basically we can duplicate, try to get the pawn, and then we can say location, right, and then we can plug that in there. And then what we do is we set our attenuation settings to footstep attenuation. And we compile that. And that is going to be fantastic. And now what we can do is, instead of doing, we can get it, basically we can get the monster to check for sound as well. Okay, so if we go back to our monster, now I've never done this, but hey ho, let's have a go. This is the type of stuff we do, right? We go back to our AI, then we open that up, then we add another index, and we basically say hearing. Okay, and we open that up, and I have absolutely zero idea how this is going to work, but we're going to turn that down. I don't know what this low hearing is. Right, we'll set the max age to 1, same as the other one. And we'll save that. Right? And now this is going to be actually pretty interesting. Because what we can do is we can go back to our monster and we can turn them around, right? And here he's after me. Whoa. Now that didn't seem to work. Well, it did and it didn't, right? I think is the moral of the story. And now basically the two monsters on the top of me. Right? So that kinda didn't work, but it kinda did as well. And I'm just wondering how you tell what stimulated it. Right? That's what I want to know. I want to know what stimulated the monster, whether it was the sound or the hearing. Now, the interesting thing that we actually saw as well was this did not fire. Right? So I want to add a breakpoint here because I want to know if this is actually firing or not. Right? because obviously if the footsteps aren't firing, then I'm making no sound apart from these things breaking and stuff like that. And apparently these are not firing, which would suggest that this animation blueprint is not firing. Right. Yeah. This animation, I according to this, that is not running. That's a bit bizarre. Right. So the intelligent thing here would be to move our player start to a position that isn't next to the like or the lich, or however you want to describe it. Right. So now the lich is over here. And facing the wrong way. Right, now I think that it heard the wood break. Right, that's what it heard. Okay. But I also think that for whatever reason, the animation blueprint is coming back with a not valid pawn. Right? So if we look in here and we go to blueprints and we go to pawn mansion, right? Now remember that we looked at our first person mesh and it says use this, right? Use this animation blueprint. And basically, I'm of the opinion, if I do print string here, and we say is not valid, then it's going to be hello, 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 right? So I am now guessing right, there we go. It's doing its hello thing, right? So what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say get player pawn. Okay, and I'm also going to say I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to plug it in there. And now I think this might just work. But still that animation notify is not working. Now that would kind of suggest that we're not actually playing that animation. Right? So I'm wanting to look at this to see what it actually says on the tin. Right, so it looks to me as if it's never changing. Right, so we're going to have to do the footsteps in a slightly different way. Because it's just never playing this animation. Is moving. Set is moving. Right, so what I'm saying here is this. Go to there. Right, delete that. Compile that. And press play. And what I want to see here okay, escape that. I want to see what's actually playing at this point. I don't know. I don't actually know what's playing at this point. Right. Because it seems to me it's always in idle. And if it's always in idle, then that's not so good. Right. Let's have a look in here again. It's never getting to here. At the breakpoint there. Compile it. Press play. Right, now it's getting to there, right? Now, I want to be able to step over this. Right, so that's a weird one. Right, tell you what. Print string. And we'll print this. Right, so this should give us basically pawn mansion. Right? Right, we're going to disable that breakpoint. Right, so it is valid. Right, okay. And we're getting the movement component. Right. So we don't want to do jumping because we never jump, right? So we just want to do this as moving, right? Right, that's weird. We've stopped that. Whoop. Right, so according to this, get player pawn is nothing. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say get player controller. Right, and then we're going to do that. And then we're going to compile it and press play. And according to this, we don't have a bloody player controller. Right? Which is completely blooming nonsense. Okay. And on that, let's do an update of the scores of Champions League before we go off. Chelsea look like they've won 2-0. Celtic have been beaten 2-0. Real Madrid have equalised against Shakhtar Donetsk 1-1. And basically PSG, Benfica's 1-1, Dynamo Zagreb, Salzburg's 1-1, and Dortmund Sevilla is 1-1, and that's the way it's finished. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for the Discord and ways that you can support the channel through my previous game and Patreon for as little as $1. And I shall see you all at 8 PM Central tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.